Hello and welcome back to the Post-Gazette Sports WPIL YouTube channel. I'm Matt Press, one of the Post-Gazette's high school sports writers. Hard to believe there's only 2 weeks left in the high school football regular season. It's really winding down. And today we're here with our boys athlete of the week, Tyler Eber from Thomas Jefferson. 279 yards, 6 touchdowns, and last Friday's big 42-6 win against Ringgold, up to over 1,400 yards on the season. So, Tyler, how you doing today?
Good. How are you?
Doing good. Before we get into some questions, just like to remind everybody that this week's Athlete of the Week is presented by Dave & Buster's in Homestead. As part of the recognition, Tyler will receive a Dave & Buster's gift basket, including a DMV Power Card that can be picked up at the Homestead location. From Wednesday, October 15th through Tuesday, October 21st, anyone from Thomas Jefferson High School who visits Dave & Buster's in Homestead mentions their school will have 20% of their check donated directly to the Thomas Jefferson PTO. So grab your teammates, classmates, and family and head to Dave & Buster's in Homestead, where you can eat, drink, play, watch sports, and support Thomas Jefferson all at the same time. Thanks again to Dave & Buster's Homestead, proud sponsor of the Post-Gazette WPIL Athlete of the Week. So we'll get into some questions. Just first off, I kind of want to talk about the workload you've had since last season. Had over 2,200 yards, 30 touchdowns last year. In the WPIAL playoffs, 48 carries in the quarterfinals, 43 in the semis, 33 in the championship. Just how are you able to sustain all that? It never really seems like you get too tired either.
Yeah, it's never really been an issue for me. Even when I was a younger kid last year, it's never been an issue to keep going and keep giving all out effort. So I've never really been tired because I really do love the sport and I really do love what I do in the sport. I love my role on the team, and I'm just grateful to be here and to go out of the game just because you call yourself tired. It'd be a waste of time for me.
Yeah, and last year your sophomore season might have surprised some people with the way you broke out, but Bill Churpak and TJ didn't really seem surprised by that. Just what do you attribute that success to? How are you able to have that kind of production last year?
I would say relentless pursuit of the goal, because we had 3 senior running backs graduate my freshman year. There's 3 senior running backs that all rotated, and was gonna have to, or I wanted to step into that role, and I knew there was a large task ahead of me. And me and my family, we all thought, we might still play JV my sophomore year, and we were all okay with that. But the end goal was to get some varsity time, and it ended up becoming more than that. And I couldn't be more grateful for that opportunity.
Yeah, and Bill Churpak and TJ as a whole, it's kind of synonymous with ground and pound and the running game. I imagine that's something that you really liked when you first got to school. Did you kind of know that that was the identity and you'd be going into that?
Yeah, throughout middle school, we always ran out of the eye, even then. And I didn't start actually running back in middle school, but I really loved the power running scheme. I did go in.
How did you get started with running back?
Well, I played defense only in my middle school because there was a guy ahead of me in middle school. So I was kind of utility guy. I played some receiver, played some running back, played some corner, kind of just went all over the place. And when I got started with my love of running back in 6th grade, but I just kept working at it, and then eventually got the opportunity in high school.
Is there someone, maybe a college back or a pro running back, that you've grown up kind of watching, or even now that you're trying to take some pieces from their game?
Yeah, for sure. My number one guy is Jalen Warren. Ever since he came into the league, I've watched him. He's a ground and pound guy, hardworking guy, quiet guy like me, not trying to, be too flashy, kind of how I like to identify myself as well.
Yeah, and kind of with that, you were when I was at practice before this season, you had kind of talked about leadership being a big part of your game this year. Just what were some of the steps you took to grow in that regard, and what have you done to try and become that leader?
Yeah, it's about gaining a little bit more confidence to speak within the team. So my goal at the beginning of the season was to lead through example, and I feel I have done that because I work hard every day, and I feel a lot of my teammates, they work hard too, and that lets some of the younger guys and some of the new guys step in, get that work ethic the same way. But for me, it's developed into a little bit more of a vocal role because it was needed. We were down some guys, and it was a time for a guy like me who's like, I'm only a junior, but it doesn't matter the age. You still got to step up and help with the team out.
Yeah, for sure. And how about over the last 2 years? A lot of touchdowns, a lot of big runs. Do you have a most memorable run or touchdown across the last 2 seasons?
It's a good question. I gotta say, as even though it wasn't like my most electric run, I think my first touchdown run in Aliquippa and my first handoff in Aliquippa. My first handoff in Aliquippa wasn't even a crazy run, but I jumped like over two linemen that were kind of like converging, and I jumped over their legs, and it was a 30-yard gain, and it was like, wow, like we're a team that can compete with these high level guys like Aliquippa and McKeesport as well. But and then later on in that game, there was a toss, and I spun into the end zone off of Braden White's block. It was honestly not. I shouldn't. There was no need for that. I was kind of out of control with my speed, and I ran straight into him. And I just spun off of him, but it just got me really excited because to be able to compete with those guys, it's just awesome, especially in the WPIAL playoffs.
Yeah, for sure. And coming into this season, and now as you're looking more towards the postseason, just you got TJ's repeated 5 times as WPIAL champions in their history. What do you guys need to do this season to be able to make that happen again?
Yeah, we kind of got off course a lot, in the recently, and I feel this Ringgold game really did put us back on course. Getting Kane Egerton back was a big deal, but it's not one singular guy that's gonna make or break a team ever. It's not about that, but for us, it's about playing our football and not getting out of it. We got a tough defense, relentless defense. And when we play that way, we are really hard to beat, especially on offense too, when we can ground and pound the ball. But like when we get into like third down situations where maybe 3rd and 8, to be able to throw the ball effectively and be able to get the first downs in the air as well as on the ground.
Is that kind of a team-wide thing throughout the week? As a couple losses this year, you said kind of threw you off track. How are you guys fully staying committed, and like you mentioned with that identity, how are you guys remaining focused on getting back to that throughout the week?
I've never lost faith in my team, and I believe that none of my coaches nor my teammates have truly ever wavered in our faith of how good we can be. It's little mistakes and not making plays that have caused us to lose those games, and the mistakes we can't do that as a TJ football team. But from that perspective, we just you just got to get back on course, and it's a 3-game season. What coach was telling us, what Chirp was telling us, it's a Ringgold, Chartiers Valley, Laurel Highlands. Let's win out and then put the rest behind us, and we're still after the WPIAL.
For sure. And individually, I mean, the last 2 seasons, you would think college interest might start to pick up, and maybe it hasn't quite the way you've wanted to yet. Has that been like a concerted effort from you to be making a statement in hopes of picking up some of those offers?
Yeah, I mean, I definitely have a bit of a chip on my shoulder. I think, I understand it. I may not be the most gifted athlete in the world, but I'm gonna give my all out effort. And I'm not a slow guy by any means, and I'm not exactly a small guy. So do I feel I can be in that position soon? Yes, but if they got to see more, they got to see more, and I understand that. And I'm going. I think I'm going up on a visit to Cornell soon, and
Okay.
college in different colleges. I've been reaching out, but I'm kind of one of those underrated guys, and I'm okay with that. I've been kind of an underrated guy my whole life.
And in the preseason, Coach Sherpak was telling me there was a practice where it was the scout team offense against the first team defense, and you went in at running back for the scout team, and he was trying to take you out, but you wanted to just stay in. And I feel like that kind of just said a lot about your mentality and how you approach things. Has that just kind of always been the case for you?
Yeah, coming into my freshman year, I was like 150 pounds, and from in there, I remember going into scout team and the JV guys who were above me at the time being like, "Get out, man! You can't compete here." But there's something that I always liked about getting knocked on my butt and then jumping back up. It's kind of like a statement to me. So I've always wanted the challenge. Even going into my sophomore year, I tried to get on the scout team, and then when I started to prove myself, they were like, "Okay, it's time for you to get off of this." But I really enjoy just the challenge of playing against my team.
Yeah, for sure. And we'll wrap up with a couple last questions here. First off, what is your pregame routine? If you have one, is there music you listen to? Just what gets you ready for a game?
Typically, I'm very calm before a game. I don't like to get too amped up because I play my best calm. But recently, with the recent losses, I've been fired up. So I've been listening to a little bit of Jason Aldean before games. I'm just like, so sometimes I just want to hit something, and I just want to get ready. Cam Scottaboo was getting me fired up lately. We watched some of his highlights before a game. But my pregame routine, it's pretty simple. I eat a Panera chicken sandwich or a Chick-fil-A chicken sandwich and head out to the stadium early, do some stretches, and get ready to go.
I like it. Last thing, what is something that you think people would be surprised to know about you? Maybe a hobby or something you do away from the field, something you think people would be surprised to know about you?
It's a good question. I'm a big skier in the wintertime. That's one of my favorite. It is a sport. I don't do it competitively, but I really do enjoy it. And I try to get up to Seven Springs as much as I can. And something I really enjoy doing with my friends and my family in the wintertime.
Okay. Are you do you have any tricks in your bag or anything you're doing on the slopes?
I'm not a big trick guy. I gotta stay healthy for football and stuff, but I don't do much of the park stuff. But I'll sometimes go in the woods and stuff like that, some backwoods.
Okay, good stuff. Well, that was our boys athlete of the week, Tyler Eber from Thomas Jefferson football. As always, be sure to subscribe to this channel. We have our weekly athlete of the week videos, as well as our post-game football interviews, our varsity extra podcast from Keith Barnes and Mike White. And of course, be sure to check out all our written work at post-gazette.com. We'll have plenty more as regular seasons are wrapping up across different fall sports and we're getting into the playoffs. So that's all for now, and I'll see you guys next time.
Thank you for checking out this content from Post-Gazette Sports. If you watch this video on YouTube, please like the video and subscribe to our channel. For all of the sports coverage the Post-Gazette has to offer, visit post-gazette.com.